Have you ever wondered how one person can transform knowledge into a tool for empowerment and change? Well, watch this episode to know more.
So in December 2021, up to which time we ran the Children's Post as a print-at-home daily publication for kids, we were reaching about 14,000 schools and 20 lakh children in every part of the country. And while there is a lot of work happening on policy making, advocacy with the government, nobody is, teaching the person on the road to think about inclusion.
Welcome back to Beyond HerStory, only on Wonder Woman Wednesday. And our guest for today, Nidhi Arora, is not just an author who crafts mysteries that will keep you on the edge of your seat, but she's also a powerhouse driving change across education, business, and social sectors. Imagine making knowledge accessible to all and championing the cause of the visually challenged, all while revolutionizing mid-sized businesses in India. So let's give a warm welcome to Nidhi Arora and get this conversation going. So welcome, Nidhi, to Beyond HerStory. It's a pleasure to have you here and can't wait to know more about you and the wonderful things that you're doing.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here.
So I think let's start with the questions right away.
Yes.
So Nidhi, there are so many aspects to your journey and, it's absolutely inspiring. So to start with, let us start with your fiction book, Probate. So what is it that sparked the idea for this? And how did you think, that detective stories can play a role in spreading knowledge?
Actually, stories are the best tool for education, no? And for me, what happened was I was learning fiction, short story writing, and cybersecurity in the same year.
Okay.
And I was learning cybersecurity because when we do advisory work with clients, I realized that their biggest gap is, and this was 3-4 years ago, I realized that their biggest gap is in awareness. Like we are not able to understand everything that a cyber threat can do to our organization and to our lives.
Right.
And for me personally, it was also an incident with my mother that triggered the need to do a lot of citizen awareness. So that is how the two came together and this bunch of short stories came out. Detective fiction anyway is my favorite genre.
Okay. So you have tried to integrate these two things together, is it, in the book?
Yes. And the next book is all 9 short stories are use of AI in cybercrime.
Wow, that's really amazing. I think like you rightly said, putting storytelling into these kind of concepts will definitely help.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think let's move on to the next part of your life, the Children's Post of India. This is your print at home format for children, right? So how has it been launching the Children's Post of India? Like, what hurdles did you face to make this learning fun for kids? And what kind of impact do you think it's had?
So in December 2021, up to which time we ran the Children's Post as a print at home daily publication for kids, we were reaching about 14,000 schools and 20 lakh children in every part of the country.
Wow.
So I used to say that, there are places जहाँ सिर्फ 2 ही चीज पहुंचती है, एक BSNL का तार और एक मेरा अखबार.
Very nice.
You are on a state highway and there is one small RS public school next to you. My newspaper would have reached that RS public school. Wow. From the beginning, our idea was to take this knowledge as a daily fun-filled paper to children who are not likely to get it. Tier 2, Tier 3 and remote parts of India. So as a growth strategy also, that is the sector we focused on. Hilly states of India, other places where it is hard for children. Anyway, there was no other daily newspaper for children.
Correct.
And the Children's Post was started for my own son.
Okay.
So the journey was very rewarding. And since Feb 2022, we've been on a website only format.
Okay. So currently it's only online, is it?
Yes, now it's only the website.
So did you have to face any challenges, at least in the initial setup? Because, to get the reach to the Tier 2, Tier 3 and all that, like how was that?
Plenty of challenges, starting with, of course, getting the product right for the children. So we sort of made sure that we had children reading us every day and giving us feedback at least once a month. All the other editors were also parents or people who worked routinely with children. So
Okay.
it took us some time to get that product right, so that children looked forward to a copy of the Children's Post every morning. And then there was the question of reaching out to all these remote schools, collating that database. So we did that on our own. Every single one of those 14,000 entries was collated by us. Those were the two major challenges.
Yeah, that's amazing actually. So now let's talk about your consulting firm, TopGain.
Yes.
I think with this you have flipped the script on consulting, prioritizing trust and tangible results over just the numbers, right? So
Yes.
could you share how this approach has made a difference for your clients?
See, first is that as consultants, and me and my partner Sanjeev were both in advisory for a long time, some of the frustrations that we often heard clients' voice was that the person who shakes our hand and gets the contract is not the one who comes for delivery. As soon as we met that top frustration, immediately things changed for clients. And obviously, in terms of delivery, it makes a difference if a person who has had a certain level of work X is coming and working with your team. So our deliveries are much, much faster, like unimaginably fast.
Okay.
And that gave, and we, took ownership of outcomes, not billing hours. We also sort of, when we evaluate whether it's the right opportunity for us, the only criterion we hold is, will we add value here? Will we add business value here? And it has made a difference to just so many employees in not too many organizations, but to those employees, it has made a lot of difference.
Okay.
And as professionals, we see a change happening because of our work. So obviously, it's deeply satisfying for us.
Yeah, understand. Okay, so it's not just that, right? Like you've written a fiction, you're running the Children Post, and then you're, with TopGain, you're doing the consulting work, but also you all run an initiative. And the work that you're doing with Esha is incredible. So can you walk us through how it started and the difference it's actually making in the lives of the visually challenged?
Esha is actually my longest standing initiative at this time. Esha just finished 19 years on 5th Jan 2024. Wow. And I've been volunteering since 1997. So, pretty much my whole adult life. Okay. In 2005, we started to create Braille content directly for the person using it. Then we started the use of Braille-enabled visiting cards in India. Okay. At that time, people used to ask me, why would I want Braille on my visiting card and things like that. From there to today, when it is an independent service business run by two professionals working out of Bangalore, it is, I think, an entire segment has been created. Today, people don't ask us, why do I need Braille cards? And my most recent inquiry was this morning. Wow. In the middle, so in 2019, after COVID, the business was completely moved to the professionals who had been trained. We mentored them over a long period of time. So now people call me up and say, this one is traveling tomorrow morning. He can't travel without Braille cards. Can you please do it for me in 24 hours? So the narrative has shifted from why do I need Braille on my cards to no, our leader is traveling and he cannot travel without Braille on his cards. The second thing we did at Esha was something called knowledge democracy, which is also my personal life mission. Because I believe that when you take access to knowledge away from a person, you very directly impact their quality of life. So we started something called Clabil, which is Central Library of Audiobooks in Indian languages. Okay. Because Braille literacy was going down, audio was increasing. Number one. Number two, Braille is sort of bulky to transport and to refresh. So if a library gets 50 books of Braille, for us to send them the next set of 50 takes a much, it's just a lot of infra. Yeah. And the third reason was, we started audio because it was easy to transfer. And, English is not even the third language for a large part of our population. So we wanted to create knowledge and literary resources in Indian languages. Okay. So what we designed was very simple. It was an online repository of audio in Indian languages. It required no sign up, no registration, and it had copyright-free content and a copyright marker. Now, after Marrakesh Treaty, it is possible for every VI professional to access content for their personal use. Okay. So we created online library. Today it has, and the entire initiative, you'll be happy to know, is volunteer driven. Every single recording in that has been done by a volunteer. Awesome. And we now have content in 23 Indian languages. Wow. That's quite it's a smallish library. Yeah. Yeah, it's a smallish library compared to other large knowledge resources online today. Okay. But it was in 2010, and I think at that time it was a very new thing, so people really benefited from that. The third thing we do at Esha is sensitization, because we believe that inclusive policy needs an inclusive public. And while there is a lot of work happening on policy making, advocacy with the government, nobody is, teaching the person on the road to think about inclusion. Correct. And the second hypothesis is that when you walk on a pavement, it's not that you don't want it to be inclusive. It's that it's not part of our consciousness. There is no ramp here, there is no tactile tile here.
Yes. So
it is, and a research that we did last year sort of proved that people really want to be inclusive. Correct. And a sensitization event has pretty much a lifelong impact on their attitude towards special ability. Okay. So we conduct blind walks, which is we simply invite you to experience a public place as a VI person would experience it. It's just a 5 or 10 minute completely voluntary exercise, but it's an eye-opening experience for people. The other thing we do at Esha is independent research, because we realize that data-driven decision-making needs independent data. And that is kind of lacking in this sector. So we completed the first national research last year, which is attitudes of the sighted towards the specially abled. When we speak to leaders about inclusive employment, we hear, look, we are very happy to have an inclusive workspace, but our colleagues may not be so happy. Okay. So we said, okay, let's ask these colleagues how they would feel about longer transaction times, physical changes in office, if it means having an inclusive workplace. Right. Can you guess how many? And there were over 800 participants from every part of the country. Can you imagine what percentage said we would be happy to wait longer for a transaction and physical changes if it means having a more inclusive set of colleagues, more diverse set of colleagues?
80%, is it? So Nidhi, I think after hearing about your amazing journey, there might be many people who would want to get in touch with you and maybe be a part of the initiative or the other things that you're doing. So, if you can share the links and the other things that people can get in touch with you, we'll put it in the description, or if there is something you would like to share.
Okay, so the children's post is at mytcp.in. TCP stands for the children's post. Okay. And Esha is at eshabraille.org. And Esha volunteering is open at all times. So I hope, and TCP has sections on Sudoku, puzzles, GK, laughter, all of that. So I hope the kids enjoy it.
Yeah, sure. We'll also leave the link so that you can, people can easily access it. And one last question before you go, Nidhi. We are Wonder Woman Wednesday, and you've made a significant, strides in creating value and managing change and all that. So can you share some nuggets of wisdom with the women folk out there, both in their careers and beyond?
Okay, this will sound very repetitive, very cliched, but it makes a world of difference. Do not underestimate yourself. Even if you qualify for 80% of a role, apply. Let them reject you. Please don't reject yourself.
True.
Okay. Number 2, I find that, it is not that, especially in the workplace, record and document your achievements. These are very, very small things. Yeah. Third, at all times, have a mentor and listen to them. Use that relationship in a very productive way. Go prepared for the meeting, ask specific questions, take their input, and always go back to them with closure. You advised this and I did this. Did I do okay? Yeah. Okay, so my journey has been aided a lot by people who took time out to be mentors.
Okay, wow. Amazing.
And they were not always women mentors. They were, leaders.
Yeah, true. Wow, that's amazing advice, especially for, women who are trying to do a lot in their career. So thank you. Thank you once again, Nidhi. It's really amazing, Nidhi, the kind of work that you're doing. And it's not limited to one certain thing, like, you are, and the way you were speaking about Esha, I could actually make out how passionate you are about it, and it's visible. And it's not just one thing, you're doing multiple things with that initiative. So kudos to that. And it's really an amazing initiative, I think. So it's been a pleasure having you, Nidhi, with us today. And it's so, you've shared your insights and your journey. So thank you for that. And thank you for being a part of Wonder Woman Wednesday.
Thank you for having me. It was lovely to speak with you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining us on this inspiring and wonderful journey with Nidhi Arora. Are you feeling inspired by her mission to democratize knowledge and her incredible work? We would love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below, share your takeaways, and let us know how you are making knowledge accessible in your own way. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel Wonder Woman Wednesday. And together, let's empower and educate one story at a time. See you in the next episode.